What's up, everyone? My name is Lauren C, and this is Live With Me. If you're new around here, welcome. Glad to have you join the club. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you like what you see, go ahead and physically like it with that like button and turn on post notifications as well. Let's get into this video. As you all know,
it's the most wonderful time of the year.
College application season. I know you're probably up to your eyeballs in blood, sweat, and tears, what with recommendation letters, deadlines, and essays. But I'll have you know that I too was a high school student once.
Yeah, like 6 months ago.
And look, I'm in college. We made it. We're surviving. We're thriving. Maybe not thriving, but that's for another video. Anyway, I recently received a message from Angelin C. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Shout out to you, Angelin. And she was asking me about like my personal college application process and how I got into Mizzou, aka the University of Missouri, which is where I go. So that's what we're gonna be talking about today. Got my trusty hot chocolate here, you know, Swiss Miss. If you want to sponsor me, that would be great. I've drank at least 6,000 pounds worth of your hot chocolate mix in my life. I'm a dedicated fan. Hot, hot, oh, we got it. Hot, hot, oh, we got it. Hot, hot, oh, we got it. This isn't even hot anymore. I'm kind of concerned. Ew. I'm gonna try to make this as detailed as possible, but I'm also gonna try to make it easy to follow and not too long-winded because my videos can be kind of long. So I'm gonna put some timestamps in the description box below, and you can skip around if you want to, just to see what would be the most beneficial for you. Without further ado, let's get started. My grades in high school were pretty consistent. I'd have to say I've always been someone who's really cared about my grades a lot. I never got a C in any class on any report card. My grades in senior year specifically were my best out of my entire high school career. I have no idea how that happened because I had senioritis like nobody's business. Like, if you saw some of the work that I turned in, oh, it was not great. Not that it was bad, but it was definitely not my best. So from the second quarter and on, like all the way to the end of the senior year, I had all A's on my report card. My rank was 22 out of 477. I don't know what percentage that is. It was at least top 5%, I think. I know that. Weighted GPA was 4.21, and then my unweighted GPA was like a 3.8. That was like cumulative out of all 4 years of high school. I don't know if that's a high GPA for some of you or a low GPA for some of you. I hate it when like people on YouTube are just like, you know, people in general are like,
oh yeah, I had like a 4.9 like this entire time, like all throughout high school. Like, I'm so good at school. Like, oh, you had a 3.2? Like, oh my gosh, like what is going on with you? Like, what the heck?
no, that's not the type of person that you should want to associate yourself with. If the highest you can get is a 2.8 or a 2.5 and you really can say you've tried your best and you've done everything you can, then good on you. I feel like if you've set goals for yourself and you really are trying, like there's nothing wrong with getting like a lower GPA or like lower test scores. I certainly did not get high test scores, but I still got into college and I'm still satisfied with where I am right now. But that's just the GPA I got, and this is about how I got into my specific college, so that's that. My course load in high school was kind of unique, I'd say. Freshman year, I didn't take any AP classes or anything like that. I did take honors classes. All of my classes were honors. Sophomore year, I took an AP class. I aced the class and failed the test with a 2. That should go to show how good of a test taker I am. Junior and senior year, which is what I'm gonna more focus on in this video, I did the IB program, and I don't know if a lot of you have heard of it or not. Basically, it's a really rigorous program. A lot of people can say that it's comparable to AP. Most IB students would tell you that IB is much harder, and I would have to agree. It's basically just got a lot of requirements and it's college level. Again, I'm not going to go too deep into it because like this is more a holistic thing. I'll go specifically into it in another video. IB was weighted the same as AP was, so it was weighted at a 5. So instead of a 4.0, if you had an A in the class, it would be a 5.0. And if you had a B in the class instead of a 3.0, it would be a 4.0, etc., etc., etc. Again, I'll talk more about my experience in IB later. Yeah, it was quite the ride. I seriously have a terrible, terrible, terrible experience every time I take a test, and it's followed me into college, and it kind of sucks. I got a solid 1130. I wanted to retake it before the early action deadline, but I would have had to pay an extra $40, and I'm perpetually broke, so I did not. I took the ACT as well, and I got a 24 on that. Again, not a great test taker, not great at anything as far as testing goes. If you have low test scores, or like what society thinks is low test scores, you can definitely get into college still and get into pretty good colleges. I still got in to 6 of the 7 colleges I applied to, which I will talk about later. Extracurriculars. I did pretty much everything you could think of in high school. I have a list of them on my computer if I can actually pull it up. Okay, here it is. I was a student ambassador for all 4 years of high school, which is basically like, we're like a welcome wagon or welcome committee for any new students. We give tours, we do all of that great stuff. I was a Key Club officer for 3 years, and I was in the Key Club for 4. Sophomore year, I was a secretary. I had a co-secretary named Esther, shout out to you. Junior year, I was the board chair. Senior year, I was the vice president of the Key Club. I was very involved in Key Club, not so much towards the end, but a lot in the middle and the beginning. I was on prom committee from 11th grade to 12th grade. I did a lot with that. I was in the Spanish National Honor Society for about a year. That's pretty self-explanatory. I was in National Honor Society, like just the regular national basic one, and I was the vice president of that for a year. I was also in the National History Honor Society, aka Rho Kappa, and that was for, I believe, a year. So that was for a year. So like all of these things, about 3 of them I was in for like all of high school, and then like the rest of them I either like joined in my junior year or my senior year. On top of all of that stuff that I had to do, I had 2 jobs. So like I worked at Panera for a good 8 months for like my first semester of my senior year. I also had a job as a bagger at the commissary because I lived on the military base there. So it was basically just like bagging groceries and stuff like that. I had that since my sophomore year all the way into my senior year. So like I had a lot going on. I wouldn't recommend loading your schedule down with that many things. Not only are you giving like your commitment to like 6 or 7 different things and not really being able to fulfill all of them fully, but you're also gonna burn yourself out. I was tired in my senior year. Again, I chose to do it to myself. I wanted to get involved, and I also wanted to like, you know, feel like I was, you know, doing something productive, a part of something. I understand why people are in so many things, but like, I would not recommend it to anyone. All of that on top of IB too, like that's like a whole other like monster right there. It was just a lot. It was very stressful. But those were the extracurriculars that I did. I mean, if you wanted to know, so. My college essay was, I wouldn't say controversial because like it wasn't really, and it's a common issue. Basically, it was about the microaggression of like people saying like,
oh, you sound so articulate, like as a black person, like I was never expecting that, you know, like you talk white and stuff like
all of these like really ignorant statements that I have dealt with like my entire life. And I know that like, you know, college essays are supposed to be about some like struggle that you've had or something that you overcame or like something that's really important to you. And I was like, hey, like this is it. Like that's what I deal with on a day-to-day basis. That was what it was about. I wrote it in 2 hours. I just sat down and I was like, hey, I think I was just feeling some type of way that day, and I was like, all right, let me just like put my energy into something productive. It wasn't like controversial, it was just very blunt. I'd have to say, not in a rude way, obviously. I basically was like, you know, I don't like the stereotype and I think it should stop. So if you guys want to hear my essay and want me to read it to you and break it down for you, then I will do so if I have the time and if enough people ask. I applied to 7 colleges. I know that that's, for some people that's a lot. For other people that's like what are you doing? Like 7 colleges, really? That's it? There was this one girl in my high school who applied to 24 colleges, and like good on her, but like that's a lot of things to keep track of, a lot of applications to fill out, money for those applications. These applications are not free and they're not cheap. They're usually at least $40 to like $75 each. So I just applied to 7. That's the Lord's number. So I was like, you know what, let's go do it. All of my colleges I applied to before November 1st. It was like one reach school, a target school, and then like the rest were like schools that I just kind of wanted to go to, but like they weren't my first choice. University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill was my reach school. Didn't get in. You know, they didn't want me. They didn't want this. But it's fine. It's fine. I'm not bitter. You liar! I applied to the University of Maryland, College Park. It's a really good school. It had a journalism program and it was nothing to sneeze at. I applied to Towson University. It's also in Maryland, also a really great college. Didn't have a journalism program, but I just wanted to apply just to see if I'd get in and have it as an option. I applied to Michigan State University. I applied to University of Missouri, obviously, that's where I'm going. I applied to the University of Rhode Island, and then I also applied to Allegheny University in Pennsylvania. Mizzou was the first college that actually responded to my application. It's got rolling admissions, so as soon as you apply, you'll probably get a response within like 2 weeks. Mizzou does offer applications through Common App, so I just filled it out. They don't even require an essay. Like the application was super easy. Like I would say that anyone can go to the University of Missouri. Don't get me wrong, like just because it's easy to get into doesn't mean that like the college itself is easy or like bland by any means. All of them offered me money, but like it was not enough, you know, and I really don't want to be in a lot of college debt. I'm gonna be in some, but which is inevitable, unfortunately, but I definitely am applying to scholarships and stuff like that, so like hopefully I get those. It was all down to University of Maryland and University of Missouri. Both of them had pros and cons. University of Maryland had more diversity, which I really would like right now, again, for another video. But University of Missouri had a better journalism program. University of Maryland was in a place that I already knew and that, like, you know, I had a better chance of fitting in. And then University of Missouri, like, was 2 hours away from where my parents were going to be living anyway, because they were moving to St. Louis regardless of where I decided to go to college. I don't regret my decision. I'm in the honors college here, so that's a pretty good thing. There are definitely some things that I would like to be different, but it was definitely meant for me to be here. It was February of this year that I came to tour here, and I absolutely loved it. I love the campus, I love the feel, the vibe. I do have to say that tours, what you see on tours, is a lot different than actually living here and having the experience. This is probably the place for me, at least for right now. If you want to go to the University of Missouri, shoot your shot, okay? Like, I definitely think that it's an option to consider, and you know, I think depending on the person, like, you'd like it here. It's an experience that I will tell you more about in another video, but as of right now, this is where I'm at. If I missed anything that you really want to know about, just shoot me a comment and I will explain it to you, or I will include it in another video in the future, because I'm most likely going to do more videos about college and just the application process and things of that nature. I'm gonna try to like make these videos a little shorter. It can be kind of boring to sit through just a person talking for 20 minutes. Like, I'm gonna try to make them a little bit more streamlined and a little smoother, not as lengthy as they have been. Anyway, so I have to go do my homework. Yes, that still exists in college in a very, very copious amount, unfortunately. Like, comment, subscribe, por favor, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.